Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Unfinished Podcast. I'm your host, Tracie. And listen, okay, we are officially in back to school season. And I don't know about you, child, but this time of the year always have me somewhere between excited and exhausted. Okay. Like I'm excited for the structure again and for my daughter to get back into the routine of going to school. I'm excited to see her thrive in her new grade level and just see how she achieve and how she overcome. I'm ready to meet her teacher and I just strongly been praying in that area about the teacher because that's a like the most important part of the school year. But nevertheless, overwhelmed because the uniforms is one thing. Remind you, at Nova School, every time they go to a new grade level, the colors change. Their shirt colors change. I'm sitting here with a closet full of red shirts, child, and she in blue shirts next year. So pray my strength. I got her blue shirts, but do I throw the old ones away? I don't know. We'll unpack that another episode. But then you have the paperwork and then the school supplies because I feel like, and hear me out because I know parents can relate to me on this. What happened to all the school supplies I bought last year? Like, I don't get a few of them back to rewrap them to send them the next year. Like, I gotta get everything off the list. I'm gonna get it, but what I'm gonna do is send it in moderations. I love that. Send it in moderations. You got not just shove it all at one time, cause she got projects that gotta be done, but she don't got no crayons here because I done sent 50 packs of crayons to the school. Don't worry about it. I just needed to get that out. Thank you guys for listening to me vent about that. That's where the exhaustion come in. Woohoo. Anyways, in other news, on a more serious note, I'm actually excited, guys, because this upcoming weekend I will be speaking at my first women's conference. Boom, 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 boom. I'm excited about that because speaking at a women's conference has been something I've always wanted to do. It didn't even have to be a women's conference, child. Let me tell you something. I was so humble. I was like, Lord, put me in front of a bunch of kids in the auditorium, and I'll be excited about it. Okay. But God saw fit for me to speak at a women's conference, and they thought of me and they reached out to me and they felt that I was equipped for the job. And I'm excited to show up. Okay. I can't say that I'm really nervous though, because I know I'm not going in my strength. I know I'm not relying on me. I'm relying on God. And because I have evidence that He has never left me or forsakes me, I know that He will go before me this time. Hello, clock that T. The evidence, honey, that I'm walking in Him. Like when you realize that you are not doing something out of your own strength, you are able to tie them nerves up and send them back to the sender. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with being nervous and still doing it anyways. That's beautiful because what they're saying is, although I feel uncertain, I feel unqualified, I feel I'm not ready, I'm doing it anyways because obedience is better than sacrifice. You get what I'm saying? So I'm excited about that. And I can't wait to tell you guys how I feel and how everything went. And like, I'm just excited. God is great. He is stretching me thin. He is pulling me a lot of new endeavors, but He called me for such time like this, and I'm okay with the stretching. As long as He is with me, I am okay with the stretching. So yeah, I'm excited about that, and I will keep you guys posted on how everything went, how I felt, child. How did I think I did? How did God affirm me? Because I just know He's with me. I know He's gonna go before me. Okay, so enough about me. Let's go ahead and jump into this week's episode. Last week we talked about the power of the mind, right? And how our thoughts, especially unchecked ones, can shape our lives. We dug into the idea of taking every thought captive, like the Bible tells us to do in Second Corinthians, and how when we don't do that, those thoughts start to take us captive instead. So here's the thing. Thoughts don't just stay thoughts, right? If you entertain them long enough, they'll start shaping what you believe. And and when a belief take roots, it starts to influence how you move through life. That's why Romans tells us, it says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That is Romans 12:2. Because the transformation doesn't start with your circumstances, it starts with your thoughts, right? It doesn't start with the things that's going on around with you, around you. It starts with how you start to think about or how you see the things that's going on around you. But today, I want to take everything a step further because your thoughts don't just stay in your mind. If you don't check them, they make their way into your heart. And that's where we're going next, our heart posture. Let's unpack this together. I want you to picture this. Your mind is the gate, it's where everything gets processed. Thoughts are constantly coming and going, some true, some false, some planted by God, some planted by fear or trauma or culture or old wounds. Your mind is the gatekeeper, it decides what gets through. Now, your heart is the garden. That's where things settle. That's where roots grow. So when a thought gets through the gate, right, and you meditate on it, you rehearse it, you replay it over and over, that thought takes root in your heart and it becomes part of what you believe. It becomes a part of your identity. I love a good example. Let's just say I think, or a thought come in my head, I'm not good enough. Chad, I've been here before. I'm not good enough. And if I'm not careful, this thought will still find its way in my head. I'm not good enough. If I don't take that thought captive, it will pass through my mind. And if I don't stop it, if I entertain it long enough, if I agree with it, nurse it, it'll start planting itself in my heart. And now it's not just a thought, it's a belief. It's shaping how I talk to myself, how I show up in my relationships, how I receive love, how I respond to my purpose, and child, most importantly, how I pray or don't pray. Because when you feel inadequate, it's really hard to communicate with God. It's really hard to believe what the Bible says, and that you've created me beautifully and wonderfully made. I don't believe that because I don't believe I'm enough. Or if you don't know how he has created you, and if you don't know how he's called you, then the world and the culture and the way your family raised you, or the things that they said, they start to form you. See, the mind and the heart work together. The mind lets it in, the heart gives it a place to grow. And before you know it, your entire life is being shaped by something that was never even true to begin with. I know this firsthand. We have talked about, my struggles, and my mind is literally one of my biggest struggles because it's extremely powerful. I'm telling you, a thought will seep into your mind, and just even giving it a bit of entertaining, allowing it to stay longer than what it should, will then finds itself a seed planted in your heart. And before you start, do, or react to anything, that's the first thing you think about is that thought, not being good enough. What if I fail? What if it don't work for me? It happened for everybody else, but it won't happen for me. That's because we allow the thought to stay longer than what it should, and it seeps through our heart, and it seeps to our heart. I believe this is why the Bible addresses both, right? Like we stated, Romans 12:2 tells us to renew our mind, and Proverbs 4:23 tells us to guard our heart, for everything we do flows from it. One is about access, and the other is about overflow. One is where the lie enters, and the other is where the lie grows. And that's why I love Psalms 139. Listen, when David says, search me, God, know my heart, test me, and know my anxious thoughts. Because sometimes it's just not what you're thinking, it's what we've already started believing. Search me, God, know my heart, test me, and know my anxious thoughts. I feel like if you struggle with your mind, and if you feel like your heart has been fluttered with so much unbelief and so many lies, I dare you, For 7 days, when you wake up, you pray, search me, God, know my heart, test me, and know my anxious thoughts. And in the middle of your day, when you find yourself thinking about something that you shouldn't be thinking about, or you start believing a lie that you shouldn't be believing, you stop right there and you say, search me, God, know my heart, test me, and know my anxious thoughts. Because then God will start to search you. He will start for one, you are praying his word back to him. He's not a God that he shall lie. And we already know that he's not a God that can go back on his word. So if you're praying and you asking him to search your heart and to test your anxious thoughts, you better believe he's going to do just that. I do believe that you should follow up with praying, I'm the head and not the tail. That I'm the lender, not the borrower. You got to start speaking the opposite of what you believe. Start reminding yourself of the stories in the Bible. You call Gideon. Gideon thought he was a weak. He thought he was the weakest. His clan was the weakest of them all, but you called him a warrior. Here I am, and I think that I'm the weakest of them all. I think that I can't be anything because of the family that I came from, but you call me a warrior. You call me beautiful. You call me chosen, that you already love me. A holy God love a sinner like me. You planted good things in me for me to prosper. Why am I not prospering? What do I believe that is a lie? Luke chapter 6:45 tells us, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. That means whatever is coming out of us, our words, our reactions, our decisions, is tied to something that is already growing in our heart. So here's the thing, or here's a question I want you to sit with today. I want you to write this question down. I want you to ask yourself this question every day. What thoughts have you allowed through the gate that are now growing in your garden? What thoughts have you allowed through the gate that are now growing in your garden? Your garden is your heart. Your gate is your mind. What have I allowed in my mind that is growing in my heart? That question is going to require you to sit and really unpack. It's not going to have you just to think surface level. You're going to have to get to the root. You may have to go back. How was you talked to as a child? What did you believe? What was repeated to you over and over and over again that you have started to believe that has now grown in your heart? We have to uproot it. Just because that's the way you was raised and that was the lie that you was told to believe does not mean you cannot come out of agreement with it. I want to challenge you this week not to beat yourself up. Please, we are not here to condemn ourselves. But I want us to become more aware of what's been growing in our heart without us realizing it. What are we believing about ourselves, about God, or about the future that may have started with just a thought? Because sometimes that's where the lie is. The lie that you believed when you was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or even as an adult, you have made a mistake and you haven't forgiven yourself for that mistake. You made a decision, haven't forgiven yourself for that decision, and you start to believe the lie of that decision, of that mistake, of what you was told when you was a child, and now it is shaping how you show up in life. Let's call it out. Let's write it down. Let's bring it to the forefront. And we're going to cast it down, because the good news is this: even if something has taken root that doesn't belong, baby, God can pull that thing right on up. He can replant your heart with truth. He can restore your garden. He can renew your mind. You're not stuck. You're not behind. You're not too late. You're not too old to heal. You're not too late to start. You're just in process, baby. You're just unfinished, okay? We're all unfinished. He is steady uprooting things in me that I didn't even realize that was planted. But the way that I am operating through life, it shows itself. Like, it reveals itself. I am a person that if I'm easily frustrated by something, I'm quick to ask myself, why am I feeling this way so easily? Like, what is it about this thing, person, place, or thing that just irritates me like that to the core? Now, right, the first answer will be something to defend the feeling, but then I need to dig deeper into that. Why does that? Why this feeling? Why can't I think about it a different type of way? What is in my heart? Next week we'll dig a little deeper into the idea of the heart, how to clean it out, how to protect it, and how to make room for what God wants to plant there. We'll talk about not just guarding the garden, but tending to it with care, because good fruit can't grow from a neglected soil. Good fruit cannot grow from neglected soil. Listen, you do with that what you will, okay? I'm gonna say it one more time. Good fruit can't grow from a neglected soil. Or we'll say a neglected soul. Good fruit can't grow from a neglected soul. In my notes, I put soil, but we're going to say soul. So I didn't want this episode to be really long or drawn out because I'm still in preparation for this upcoming week speaking engagement. But thank you for spending time with me today. If this episode gave you something to think about, or something to pray about, go ahead and share it with a friend. And if you're listening in real time, say a prayer for your girl this weekend as I do the hard thing, as I show up, as God used me. I'm believing that God is going to meet us there. I know that He is with me. He will never leave me nor forsake me. I'm just honored to be a vessel, okay? And honestly, a broken one at that. As always, this is a reminder, you're not behind, you're not too far gone, and you are definitely not finished. God is still writing your story. We are saved, we are whole, but we are still unfinished. I'll talk to you next time. Love you. Bye bye.